Every second, the world around us is changing. Flying cars, artificial intelligence, instant messaging, and life on space stations all seemed impossible 100 years ago. So what could be waiting for us in another 50 years? We promise you won't have to wait long to find out.
My name is Kate.
And I'm Talish.
And we're gonna tell you about the future.
Which starts today.
Chefs now use cosmic cold in gastronomy.
Пускаем сегменты в нашу ванночку и ждем, пока они не промерзнут полностью.
Scientists now know how to cook a beef steak so that no animals are harmed in the cooking.
It's a very small hamburger made out of 400 of these muscle fibers.
Alternative food, healthy fly larvae protein instead of junk chemicals.
It's so good. So good. I want all of the bugs.
A 3D lunch and nutritious fume instead of Thanksgiving turkey.
I fill the glass with a cloud of cinnamon, sip out the cloud with this very special straw.
How will this technology change life in 50 years? Do you want to see it right now?
What a nice cake. I wish I could eat it. And the smell is so good. It reminds me of my childhood. Oh, and this French bread with a crunchy crust.
Don't you dare even think about it.
Ooh. Ouch! Stop. Don't touch. Respect the rules of the museum. Please, look and go to the next hall.
We've already been in every hall.
Then head to the exit. Thank you for visiting us. I need to eat right now. I'm about to pass out.
Let's eat something then. It's lunchtime already.
Oh, an apple pie. Thank you, honey. Oh, would you like half? I won't eat it all myself.
What a wonderful future. Finally, I can give up cooking and have some free time. Here, try. I made it myself.
Sure. All right.
Oh, this needs more salt. And you still need to learn how to cook anyway.
It's not like robots won't be cooking for us in the future.
Well, if we are to learn how to cook, it should definitely be the food of the future. For instance, molecular gastronomy. It looks good, it's healthy, and very incomprehensible.
Let's see. Shrimp risotto with champagne spaghetti. Okay. Perch with icy citrus teardrops. 5 forms of strawberry. What is that? I'm confused. I have a lot of questions about this food of the future. Let's go check it out. And also, I want to know what kind of technologies do you need to cook all of it? Hello, my name is Kate.
Привет, меня зовут Андрей.
Nice to meet you. Who are you? Are you a physicist, a chemist, a wizard, or maybe a magician?
Но мы все понемножку и физики, и химики, и волшебники.
Okay, well, I want to see some magic then. Beginners should learn the basics. Treating products with liquid nitrogen. Woo, don't touch it!
Да не бойся. Температура кипения минус 197 градусов.
This temperature helps to preserve all the healthy properties.
Горит, шипит.
It's whispering.
Then I dissolve duck meat in orange juice, cook the paste, and make it duck-shaped.
Ну, у тебя немножко удочка.
Yeah, my duck is a little sad. Let's have more fun by serving the pâté with a side dish. The chef suggests pink champagne spaghetti. Spaghetti made out of champagne. Sounds very fancy. I'm gonna feed Talish with it. They're like red worms made by me. It jumped out. Just jumped out. Okay. But I can tell you one thing. This kind of spaghetti is healthier than the regular one, that's for sure. It looks so
Теперь ты
funny.
можешь поесть и сразу ее выпить.
A 1-hour course of chemistry and practical lessons, and I have my lunch right here. I wonder what Talish will say about this futurology.
What is this?
Look at me.
This looks dramatic right now.
I know what I'm doing.
So good. I gotta say, I'm really into the champagne noodles, champagne spaghetti. That's fantastic.
I knew it.
I'm not gonna lie, yeah?
Good.
Cool.
I just didn't want to upset Kate. Actually, molecular gastronomy is quite strange, but pleasurable. Champagne pasta, citrus pearls. What is all this for? Besides, the dishes are so small. I'd prefer something more sizable than that.
This one's for Daddy.
What's going on? Hey, did you give up on molecular food?
Can I just have one bite of this giant, delicious, disgusting burger by myself, please?
Wait, but giant food will still exist. It's just gonna be a healthy one, like giant vegetables, for example.
Like in Cinderella?
There are places on our planet where people know how to grow products right. Philip Bowles from Wales has been harvesting giant vegetables in his garden for 30 years. He is sure that the future and traditions are inseparable.
Yeah, 2'6" there, 2 weeks growth, 14 days. That's potentially a very good marrow. If they grow too quickly.
20 years ago, Bowles grew the biggest cucumber in the world, 19 pounds. He made it into the Guinness Book of World Records. His garden is now a Welsh tourist attraction.
But I like, the marrows, to see them grow over 100 pounds in such a short time. And the cabbage, we took a cabbage to the pub and, it takes 2 of us to carry it into the pub and you're squeezing it through the door and everybody's laughing and having a bit of fun. And it's just a jolly good thing to do.
He is most proud of his pumpkins. They are still ripening now, but Philip is sure that each of them will weigh about 200 pounds.
Just started off, going out 2 weeks. I don't use any sprays and things. Seed is number one. You've got to have the right seed. You will not grow a giant out of a normal seed. A little seed like that grow into a cabbage over 100 pounds in weight. I usually add to my to the water. It's some molasses, sugar-based.
Philip Bowles says that a couple of cabbage leaves are enough to cook a Sunday lunch, and 1 marrow is enough to cook vegetable stew for 30 people.
You can grow them. I don't see why you couldn't grow them out in the fields, and you could grow tons and tons of marrows. I'm sure it could help a lot, in the food crisis, if there is a crisis.
Maybe giant vegetable seeds will be a salvation for the growing population of Earth. Scientists think that nature puts no limits on vegetable sizes. If you want, you can surely harvest such vegetables using cranes, not combines.
Hey, what are you doing?
I'm peeling a carrot.
Okay, I got it, Talish. For you, size really matters. But do you think it's possible to grow a cow the size of a skyscraper?
Some people can live without meat. Some people even consider cows to be sacred.
Great, because scientists have found a way to leave those poor animals alone.
What, are we all gonna become vegetarian?
No, we will grow meat, but only in a test tube.
These people are eating the most expensive cutlet in history. It took 10 years and $400,000 to make it. Hani Rutzler from Austria ate this scientific masterpiece live in less than 2 minutes. Specialists calculated that it took her 27 masticatory movements to eat it.
There's quite some intense taste. It's close to meat. It's not that juicy, but the consistency is perfect.
Thousands of people were watching the process of this steak's creation. For the first time ever, scientists had managed to create natural meat in a test tube.
And not some sort of protein that looks a little bit like meat. So I think this is much more, this is actually the same, so everybody will understand that this is meat.
Dutch scientist Mark Post from Maastricht University shows what he thinks a meat farm of the future will look like.
The pink fluid is the nutrients. We add that to them so that they can grow and produce more mass.
Stem cells are put in the nutrient broth on a flat surface. When a thin layer of cells cover the whole plate, then they are put in a bioreactor where the muscle tissue formation starts.
It's a very small hamburger made out of 400 of these muscle fibers, so approximately 60 million cells.
Such meat is now too expensive for an ordinary customer. A kilo of lab beef will cost about $60. But scientists say that it's already a breakthrough. Initially, the cost was thousands of dollars.
Well, that's the reason why we're doing this. We are doing this to reduce the footprint of meat production on the planet. So in order to make conventional meat, it requires a lot of resources. 15,000 liters of water for 1 kilo of beef.
This group of artists, chefs, IT specialists, engineers, and biologists considers that soon the only thing which will remind us of meat will be its flavor, made with the help of 3D technologies.
We are constantly surrounding ourselves with foods that are not sustainable, things that produce a lot of CO2 gas.
Jin Suan suggests solving the environmental problem by a revolutionary way of eating, a virtual one.
The way we started out was really an experiment to see whether we can allow you to eat something by tricking your brain, but also eliminate all forms of calories involved so that you can really be able to taste and smell and be able to feel the food without actually being what it is.
Instead of flatware, you've got 3D glasses, headphones with the sounds of chewing, a diffuser with food flavors. Instead of the dish itself, this very 3D printed, tasteless and flavorless cube, this will be your dinner.
We're gonna be using cricket powder, and then we're gonna add some agar-agar as a form of hydrocolloids. So this is a vacuum chamber sealer. So we're trying to extract oxygen from this mixture so we get very consistent and even texture once we create this into edible piece. This liquid form will become this hardened piece.
The hydrocolloid cube is 3D printed. It is not particularly appetizing, but you don't necessarily need to see it. 3D glasses and your imagination will turn this cube into either ice cream or tomato soup. Jinsu's team has got chefs, artists, and designers working on this.
You can look at it from a nutritional perspective. So you design all of the ingredients, include all the ingredients that would satisfy vitamins and minerals that would go into it.
Experimental project participants are sure virtual food will solve the problem for people who suffer from severe allergies or diabetes. In 50 years, will people forget what plates, forks, and knives are for?
Food changes our metabolic structure and the human body. Evolution has made us a lot smarter and a lot less hairy.
I wouldn't speak for all of us.
Eat.
What? Why do you think the flies are the food of the future?
Here comes a horror story.
Experts say that by 2050, the world's population will reach 9 billion people. Having reached this number, humanity will face a disastrous food shortage. We will have to find alternative food sources.
So what? We have to eat insects? No, I'd rather die.
What? You're just not making them right.
Igor Istomin starts the day here on a sports ground near his apartment block. Seems like the scientist does not feel his age at all. Every morning, Igor makes a unique cocktail. Milk, ice cream, fruit, and a secret ingredient. A special type of protein made of fly larvae. first, businessmen sold larvae, which fishermen used as bait. But one day, the Istomin family heard the news that Bill Gates had invested about $10 million in the company, which produced a protein mixture from insects. The Istomins wondered whether larvae were not just fish food, but the food of the future.
А насчет еды, ну что я могу сказать? Китай, Индонезия, они давно этот вопрос для себя решили. Для них эти червячки, паучки, кузнечики – это самое классное. А где долгожители самые большие? Вот именно там, где исключительно питаются природным белком, ни грамма химии.
It's hard to believe, but this shed is actually a Russian innovation project. Anyway, Elon Musk designed his first space engine in a garage, too.
Now, I'm really nervous to get on the other side of that door because it's not particularly appetizing. But if they make me try to eat something, I'm definitely going to take something back for Kate.
Всегда это место, где живут мухи, живут долго и счастливо.
This is a party that we definitely are not invited to, guys. It's crazy. Oh, man. They're so excited to see us. They're so happy.
This species is called a green bottle fly, but the researchers use a pet name, Lucia. There are about 1.5 million flies on this farm.
Они питаются углеводной пищей, едят сахар, сухое молоко, пьют воду. Их основная задача – это любить друг друга и делать кладки.
I remember you saying that they're really into music. I have to ask you, do these flies have a favorite band? Or?
Обычно я им ставлю Beatles.
The Beatles?
Музыка на все времена. Самая любимая песня для них – это All You Need Is Love.
All You Need Is Love? That's so true! Even for flies.
The other part of the farm is the room for growing larvae. They buy expired food and waste from slaughterhouses special for the flies. And the larvae process it all.
I gotta say, the aroma of the future is super pungent. But the idea behind this is great because what you have is great raw material. I mean, there's enough of these things to feed 4 billion people, and it's easy to produce. So at the end of the day, you can easily cure world hunger. You just won't cure my hunger.
When the larvae become big enough, they are put into the dryer under the temperature of 70 degrees centigrade. If the temperature is lower, the final product goes to waste. If it is higher, the precious raw material, the protein, will be destroyed.
So I've heard that all of this is good for fish, for cows, but is it safe for human beings?
Конечно, конечно. Это ведь замечательный продукт, ни грамма химии, с большим содержанием белка, жирных кислот. Это удивительно легко покроет суточную потребность человека в белке. Попробуй.
Okay, I trust you.
Давай, давай.
All right, here we go. I want to give it a nice, good pinch here. All right. You know, I'll be honest, it doesn't really taste kind of like anything. It's got a good crunch to it, which is really nice, but, you know, it could just be seeds, like you could just be eating seeds and not knowing it.
Now that I know about the whole production process, the flies don't seem that unappetizing. Well, I think I'm ready to try Istomin's specialty cocktail.
Okay, cool. All right. My first bug cocktail. Here we go. I'm gonna check it out. That is so good. So good. I want all of the bugs right now. And I actually feel a little bit lighter. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like I can fly, if you know what I mean. So I'm gonna check it out.
Lunchtime.
I just imagined a world where our food is made out of flies.
Oh, God, that sounds disgusting. I bet even flies would want to stay away from that.
Of course, that would mean cannibalism for them. Thank God scientists now know how to live on just air, with some special additives, of course.
Professor David Edwards conducts experiments on human beings in this bar. This night, clients will be offered his new invention, vapory cinnamon cocktail.
I fill the glass with a cloud of cinnamon. I then sip out the cloud with this very special straw, which delivers the cloud to my tongue and away from the back of my throat. and it's a delicious experience.
A glass bulb, a straw, and vapor. This is what a lunch of the future will look like. This cloud technology has come from medical labs to the kitchen. Initially, scientists worked on therapeutic sprays.
So the idea of placing food in the form of a cloud came probably from my very early work related to delivering insulin in the form of the cloud to the lungs to remove injections in the treatment of diabetes.
Now Professor Edwards will show us how to turn cinnamon into vapor.
We use something called a Rotavap, and we first take cinnamon sticks and extract the flavor of cinnamon sticks in a mixture of alcohol and water. And then we place that mixture in this beaker, lower it into a bath of water. This is called a Rotavap, a kind of a distillation equipment.
The mixture is heated and the vapor goes to the bulb. Dehydrated cinnamon then goes to the device invented by Professor Edwards,
which is a large version of this small nimbus. When I tip now the waft, a cloud forms. It's much more sonic energy in the waft than is in the little nimbus. So there's a small cloud here, there's a thick cloud here. If I now take a glass, I can fill that glass with a very dense cloud.
This cloud is almost 0 calorie and it has all nutrients preserved. David Edwards is sure it's a perfect diet.
Actually, one of the technologies I've been developing over the last years relates to digitizing scent experience. And so here we've been creating scent experience in mechanical ways. We're increasingly, and have been for the last few years, interested in creating digital forms of these scent experiences.
A lunch on a flashcard. Today it sounds unbelievable, but scientists are sure that sooner or later, people will have to let their food stereotypes go. If food can be recorded on a digital memory card, then producing it will be no harder than starting a program on your computer.
Вот она!
И что, эту машину выгоняли с 3 дня?
Ты что, дебил?
И что это такое?
Последняя еда на планете, которая имеет вкус!
Can you imagine how expensive this is going to be in 100 years?
Wait, it is one of the possible outcomes.
You're right. Maybe it's coffee that'll be priceless.
I'm Kate.
And I'm Talish. And we've been talking about the future that's still covered in secrets.
And we're about to reveal them all.
Hopefully, before the expiration date.